Welcome back. The first New York State Infrastructure Summit was held today in downtown Binghamton with the goal of educating leaders in the area to modernize the southern tier. The southern tier becomes a tech hub. 12 News' Connor Thompson spoke to those behind the summit to understand how this will help the area.
For the first time, the Southern Tier 8 Regional Board held a summit titled New York State Infrastructure Summit, Building a More Resilient Southern Tier. More than 200 people from local governments, educators, and many more gathered to talk about how the area needs to improve their infrastructure as the region becomes a tech hub. But what exactly does that mean?
We are one of 31 communities across the United States that were selected to bring back manufacturing and support national security with that designation.
With the increased focus, communities that will be at the forefront of these advancements need to be able to handle not just businesses that will be coming in, but also residents that call Broome County home.
With energy needs to meet the CLCPA, as well as the more electric charging stations that are put in place, our infrastructure needs to be built to address those needs for the residents that are here, for guests that are coming, for new businesses that will be created.
CEO of Southern Tier Network, Jeff Gasper, says this summit shows many different ways industries can work together.
Again, leveraging the infrastructure via power, broadband, having all those kind of collaborate together to make a cybersecurity and a secure network possible, whether that's for public safety, residents, or businesses. It's really kind of a three-legged stool to make sure all those elements are in place.
Gregory says this event will be back next year because events like this allow for everyone to come together to better understand the future.
It's important to bring these stakeholders together so we know what funding sources can help our community grow. It's going to take an understanding from our local town supervisors too, to learn about new bonding issues, new tax credits that may be out there to support all this development as well.
Connor Thompson, 12 News, Broome County.